Hello everyone, this is the Prussian Prince with Wolf Flash Tournament number 13, and this is the final between Agony Achilles and Ulda of Wolf Clan. This is a best of 3. We have Achilles, also known as Cheddar in this game, playing as the Vampire Counts against the Vampire Counts of Ulda. Now, I didn't see this game before because I actually went AFK while I was spectating it in the first game, so it was just Double Sealed who was able to stream it on his own channel. So now I have to just cast it from a replay, but no worries. The rest of the match will be casted with Double Sealed live. But at least knowing that now we're in this replay, that this is a replay cast, there won't be any lag because replays fortunately also do not record lag, so that is good. I mean, as you know, Houseplant usually has lag, but it's just Ulda this time around, so don't think that we're gonna have lag. Anyway, for Achilles' build, we see his looks like it's Manfred von Karstein on a Hell Steed. Very good choice, you can see. Lots of speed on that Hell Steed. Then we actually have, curiously enough, 5 units of Blood Knights. Now in VC versus VC, Blood Knights, very, very strong, but 5 of them, I'm not sure. Other than that, we see 2 Cane Rays and a single Skeleton Warrior. So, very, very small melee line. I'm not particularly sure about this choice. I disagree with this build personally, but anyway. Then we have Ulda's build, so we see Manfred von Karstein not on a Hellsteed, so just on horse. Then we have 2 units of Blood Knights on each flank, so he actually opted to not go with the 5th unit of Blood Knights, which makes this a superior build in my opinion, and here's why. So we have a unit of Skeleton Warriors on each flank and then 1 in the center, so that's 3 of them. Other than that, we have these melee units, 4 Grave Guards. Now 4 Grave Guards will murder these 3 units, and Skeleton Warriors can be some nice support as well. So as you can see, this game is going to be really quick, as you would expect from these builds. So yeah, here we go, engagement starting, Blood Knights against Blood Knights. Here come the Blood Knights, and yeah, Cane Raid's not really in position to support, Skeleton Warriors not in position to support. So yeah, this engagement here gonna be pretty bad for the yellow VCs, aka Achilles. This engagement here not gonna go too well. Overcast was unfortunate here, but the Nehek, I don't know where the Nehek is. Oh, there it is. So interestingly enough, it's only covering like 1 unit. So this is actually really bad for VC. The unit that should be hit was this one. That should have been the unit targeted, but oh well. You can see that no engagement here is actually being won, and the extra unit of Blood Knights has not been efficient here. I mean, yeah, you have 5 Blood Knights, so the 5th unit of Blood Knights is really how you're gonna have to win this game, right? But in fact, we see Ulda in fact going for rear charges, which is very, very strange considering he doesn't have the same amount of Blood Knights, right? So yeah, already this is looking really bad for Achilles here. Probably gonna see, what are we gonna see here? And the heck, there we go on these units. Again, not hitting all of the units. Skeleton Warriors here engaging with Blood Knights. Yeah, this is not going well for Achilles at all. Again, he doesn't have the melee infantry to deal with this. And honestly, like, if I were to think about what you could do with this situation is, yes, this sounds bad, but a blob might actually be better. You know, just blob your Blood Knights and keep hacking them all the time might be a better choice than doing it like this. And then you pull out while you have like your Cane Raids and Skeleton Warriors taking the damage. Then you keep charging in and out. So that could potentially work, but still, that would be really, really, really difficult to pull off. And let's just get some zoom in action right now. Because, yeah, this battle is pretty much over. And it is clearly not in Achilles' favor. Ulda's gonna be winning this. Oh, these skeleton warriors, pretty crazy looking. I love how they look. They're really cool. And there goes the game. So game 1 is won by Ulda of Wolf Clan. Very nicely done here. In fact, interesting enough, his Blood Knights actually got more kills than the Blood Knights of Achilles. So that is interesting. Even his Manfred. Yeah, I didn't see how his Gen got sniped. But anyway, this build, I would definitely take this over this build in a VC versus VC matchup, so to speak. But yeah, that is the game. So I'll see you in game 2. Match point for Ulda.
His Graveguard were less important to him.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do we got here, man? Orcs and Goblins. What do you say that he's got, man? I mean, TPP, can you see what he has?
Which player are you talking about?
The Orc player. What does the Orc player have?
Okay. So the Orc player. That's a ton of Goblin Wolf Riders. Tell you that much. So he has... Do we have lag? I think we do.
We do. 1 second. I'm back in the game.
Yeah, okay. So we have, looks like in this forest, a total of 3 Goblin Wolf Riders. One of them is actually a Goblin Wolf Rider Archer. Then we have a Night Goblin Shaman over here.
Nice
and
to
we
see
have
him on the field.
Yeah, 2 more Goblin Wolf Riders here. And even more cav in the back. 3 Orc, Boar, Boy, Biggins. Main line consisting of mostly Orc Biggins. 6 Orc Biggins and 2 Black Orcs, I believe. His general is the... looks like Grimgore, so no Azak. Interesting choice for sure.
Yeah, no Azag, and this is the same list, by the way. We have seen Ulda take time and time again. He very much likes this really kind of focused big-gun list. And again, I don't think this list is going to fare very well against the likes of the Empire. Let me go over it right now. A single Steam Tank who did eat a shot from the Night Goblin Shaman over there, but did not take a lot of damage. Low armor piercing on that Night Goblin spell, as well as hitting a couple trees. Really hamstrung that spell. Also, next to no damage there with a second blast as well. This army, I think you've also seen to a certain extent before. We actually saw a very similar army when Ulda played up against Houseplant. Ulda took an army like this. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of greatswords, a single Bright Wizard, a single Empire General on a Barded Steed, also the Witch Hunter here with his little toothpick and pistol ready to rock and roll. In the very back, as the final lineup support here, we have a single unit of Demigryph Knights with Halberds and a unit of Spearmen. Of course, kind of a bad position here, I think, for our yellow player, for Achilles. He's kind of fighting downhill.
Yeah, he is, and he was targeting the Goblin Wolf Rider Archers instead of these juicy Orc Boy Biggins. Another thing that I don't understand.
Yeah, interesting indeed. Very interesting. Some of that ammo definitely wasted from that Steam Tank, but it does, you know, you guys are familiar with this. If he can keep, he takes another shot, looks at the, the Orc Boy Biggins, a good shot over there, slowly just hemorrhaging units.
Ooh. So these Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, nope, regular Goblin Wolf Riders, they were charging the Greatswords. Now the Greatswords are out of position. There we go. They're gonna kite back. They're out of position for sure.
Yeah, they cannot be caught out there. I mean, and they are continually getting on a steeper and steeper gradient. If they engage right here, they're actually on the steepest possible gradient. Yes, they are. Actually, the Spearman's saving them, actually giving a little bit of an even fight now. But the Goblin Wolf Rider is going to charge into the front. Probably want to charge into the back later, but we do see some nice flanking maneuvers going on here by the... by both players. By the way, these Orc Boys, not Orc Boy Biggins, going to get absolutely shredded by the likes of these Demigryph Knights. Hopefully some more cavalry for the Orc forces do decide to engage there soon.
Yeah, and these Greatswords on this flank, they're not going to do very well. They're getting charged by Orc Boy Biggins, charged by Goblin Wolf Riders, and the Orc Boys are not supporting for whatever reason. They should be going in right now. The Greenskins definitely have issues sending in supporting units to help them, but otherwise they're starting pretty good engagements.
They are doing pretty decently, yeah. I think it's probably that animosity is getting worked up, man. Orc Boys fighting amongst themselves instead of fighting the battle. Often happens in tabletop. We're seeing it here in Bad Micro in the Total War scene. But overall, the reserve is actually not that bad of idea. Allows his Orc Boys now to engage just as his cav pull out. So he's going to move his cav around, probably get around into the back of these greatswords over here. In the meantime, by the way, the main line battle's not going so badly for the likes of the Orcs. Of course, going to go better for these greatswords who are near undamaged against the likes of the Biggins, but the Black Orcs are still there, and they have just broken this unit of greatswords who are going to get the hell out.
This demigriff unit is a very unfortunate demigriff unit because it's gonna go down for sure. Oh, we have like a nice fire spell that doesn't really do as much as it seems like it does visually.
Yeah,
So,
it doesn't
yeah.
quite do as much. By the way, we also have we do have a sneaky stab and also going down to buff these guys up, and you know that combat is not really looking great for the orcs. They need as much help as they can get.
Yeah, Steam Tank is now getting engaged here, so he's gonna kite away. Orc Biggins can definitely deal damage to the Steam Tank. He might actually send it in melee against these Orc Boys, and Orc Boy Biggins should do fine in that engagement if he does decide to send them in melee.
In the meantime, by the way, here on the other side, on the other flank, the combat over here against this kind of beleaguered unit of greatswords was finally finished up by those orc cavalry, and they slammed right into the side of the second mass of greatswords here. Going to be very important to take these down. These are the last very healthy greatswords that are left for the Empire player, for for Achilles. Despite the fact that Achilles is winning this fight in the center here, I mean, this is scary, man. He's going to have to take care of that. He's got all this cav that he has to take care of in greatswords, and not the premier anti-cav unit for the Empire.
We have another sneaky stab and pop, which might actually help him finish off the general of Achilles with that Goblin Wolf Rider charge. And actually, he popped a magic missile as
He did.
well.
Right in the front, and I think that will be enough to take care of that general. Looks like the general might barely get out, though.
Oh, he's getting chased by Goblin Wolf Riders, and he did not fall. 147 HP, but not falling. The Orc Boy Biggins could get rid of them, though.
Did get a little caught up on that steam tank, but he's going to get out of there. By the way, over here in the demigriffs, you can see the power of the demigriffs. Not only are they fighting uphill, but they're also fighting orc boys, they're fighting orc boy biggins, and they were fighting goblin wolf riders, and they still have almost totally decimated both of these units here. Don't get me wrong, not a good engagement for the demigriffs, but you can see their true power right there.
Steam Tank running away and definitely doing the right thing. It doesn't want to fight the Orc Boy Biggins or the other cav units.
Certainly.
And yeah, he needs to... Achilles right now, he needs to support that because that's his only chance. But I don't see any supporting units other than his Lord, which he has to use to kite away with. Bright Wizard's still here on the field, by the way. Could be also used. I don't know how many winds of magic he has left. Only 3, I think.
It's it's choppy.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know, Home Dolan. If anybody else says it's choppy, I'll figure out what's going on. It may be because I set the graphics to ultra instead of the high or the second highest, and so I might have to set that back. I'm only getting 55 FPS as opposed to the usual 60 to 70. By the way, you know, we really see some on-point decision making here by Ulda. You know, he could have very, very easily just kind of fallen to temptation, taken the boar boys and charged straight into the back of greatswords right there and gone for that easy route. But instead, he's like, hey, no, wait a second. I have seen Achilles use steam tanks before. I know what is going to happen here. Fuck it. I'm not going to use my boar boys to reinforce the rest of my troops. Instead, I'm going to use them to catch the steam tank before he causes too much damage. And honestly, the best possible move he could have done, because these guys are not that far away from routing, and really, if they had to run a long way to catch up to the steam tank, would be in a bad position.
Yeah, and he still has the Night Goblin Shaman as well with the magic missile. Could finish off the steam tank. I mean, steam tank alone isn't gonna do this anymore because, yeah, as you were mentioning, Ulda has the tools necessary. So this is probably the first time in a long time that I see somebody with the steam tank in the late game not being able to pull it off.
Yeah, looking like it's finally might be able to be taken care of. Of course, the steam tank micro not bad here, but also the orc boar boy biggin micro on point. Ulda knows what's going on. He's probably faced this shit before, and he is not going to let that steam tank go. He's definitely going to need some more units in the front of that, though, because the steam tank is getting very, very close to escaping. It does look like he's going to maintain himself in the fight, though.
Oh, and he is starting the Grimgore. He actually hit Grimgore and made him fall down.
So now Grimgore is safe, now in the back of the fight, no longer in the front, and down goes the steam tank, guys. There it goes. Wow, Ulda with the 2-0.
Yeah, so he defeats Panda, he defeats Houseplant, then he defeats Achilles.
Yeah, he defeats the best players all the way
Yes.
around, man, all the way around. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Interesting. I'll try to deal with that choppy stuff a little bit later. Thank you for letting me know, though, Home Dolman. Do want to know when that happens. If you've watched the previous cast, let me know if they were choppy. So, TBP, factors.
Factors. Well, right in the very beginning, 2 things I want to mention.
Sure.
Steam Tank not always targeting the orc boy biggins.
Hmm.
Sometimes it was firing at the goblin wolf riders and goblin
Yep.
wolf rider archers.
Yep.
That's massive because each volley, each shot from the steam tank on enemy cav is very important because it does a lot of damage.
Yep.
So you need to make sure that you're targeting the proper units. So that was the
Sure.
first thing.
Yeah.
The first issue is his positioning on the map. I would
Yep.
have preferred if he did something like similar to this, but
Yep.
on like let's say far left flank or far right flank.
Yes. Yes.
So he had like a blocker between him
I think
or
that,
something.
also just in general in the positioning, I think that he probably should have deployed a little bit more. If you looked into the right side of Achilles' deployment zone, there was a little bit more of a flat area, or there was a better opportunity to get into a flat area. But instead, we saw Achilles kind of deploy in a kind of a funky place where about a third of his troops were on
Yeah.
relatively flat ground as long as they didn't move at all. But the rest of his troops basically on kind of slightly slanted ground, which honestly, your
Mm.
infantry have trouble with orcs anyway in the first place, and then also fighting downhill. I think that's a
Yeah.
lot of the reason why. Sorry, fighting uphill. I think that's a lot of the reason why we saw these greatswords get nowhere near the number of kills that we often see greatswords get, especially against the likes of these like biggins.
Yeah, if interesting enough, the Biggins got a significant amount
Yeah,
of kills considering this is great swords, and
yeah,
also a lot of that is not just due to the hill advantage, but if you look at it, Achilles has just a single cav unit. So what
yeah.
Ulda was able to do is charge in with Orc Boy Biggins, pull out, charge in, pull out, which helped massively with dealing with the great swords.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, just being able to get into the back there and just having the flexibility of the Orc Boy Biggins to finally end up breaking all those great swords. Again, great swords are not easily broken, man, not easily broken. But anybody falls to a flank, and when you have as much cavalry as Ulda brought, very good choice by him. Those annoying little Goblin Wolf Riders and the Biggins themselves. They certainly managed to take it out, even against these hard forces of Agony Cheddar. Too bad Agony Cheddar didn't have a little bit more cavalry. It might have gone maybe slightly differently if he had.
Yeah. So looks like the cheese doesn't win this tournament. No
It does.
cheddar, no Emmental.
No, yeah, no cheddar, no mental. And by the way, yeah, congratulations, by the way, guys, to Wolf Ulda. We have followed him this entire way, and he's played some damn good games, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's actually crazy because he's the only one we've been following.
Yeah. I mean, it's the caster curse is the caster
It's
blessing, man.
yeah,
Chimp, by the way, asked if the tank might have been more useful driving around disrupting the greenskin front line instead of just firing shots. Yes, I think, Chimp, you're very right. I think it was, though, Achilles' plan was to be able to kind of leverage the ability of the steam tank to kite later on in the game, and so didn't want to get too much damage on the steam tank right from the
yeah.
get-go.
Well, true, but if you have your steam tank in the late game, it
Hmm.
doesn't really matter how much HP you have as long
Oh,
as
fair.
nothing can catches you. So, I think he could have definitely done what Chimp
Yeah.
suggested in chat for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly saw Achilles use the steam tank more as kind of like a mobile artillery than we saw him use it as like a kind of a crunchy unit that can just go in there and fuck shit up right away. And just you're kind of hanging around the back there, not getting the full payback out of the kind of just a huge amount of just charge damage and stuff that steam tank can do. But hey, again, good games, guys. Thank you to all the players for joining up, and again, thanks again for Ulda for bringing us so many great games, and then of course bringing it all the way to the final for us.
Yeah,
Any
congrats,
final
Olda.
words, TPP?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
thank you, Ulda.
that's my. I guess that's part of my final words. The rest of it, well, thank you
Okay,
again for casting with me as usual. I think it
fantastic.
went
Yeah, it's been great.
pretty well. Yeah,
Of
and
course, of
thank
course.
you to viewers for tuning in because if it wasn't for you guys, well, this would be pointless.
I mean, we could cast to an empty room. Fuck it. Um, yeah, guys. Yeah, thank you very much. Just to kind of parrot what TPP is saying, thank you very much for joining us. It's always good to have you guys around. Can I borrow some feeling? I have no idea what my mutter is. Apparently high as fuck. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thank you too for the Wolf guys, the Wolf Clan, for sponsoring this tournament and for that little bit of that prize pool as well. Really encourages the peeps, man. Not bad at all.
What was it? $10?
Yeah, it's $10, man. Hey,
Uh,
that's lunch, right? That ain't bad, man.
yeah.
Somebody's paying you to play games for lunch. I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, thanks, Sugarcoat, for catching us as well, and Holmenden as well. And Holmenden, if the next cast also maintains that kind of chippiness or whatever you hell you want to call it, a choppiness, let me know, and then maybe something may indeed be wrong. So yeah, that's it for today. That's it for the stream. Holy shit, that alert is way too goddamn loud. Holy dick.
But yeah.
I'm gonna turn that